Past Due. Produced by TEMNO TV, TEMNO LLC. Chapter 1. The Hot Dog Incident. The sky was blue, the air was crisp, and a grown man in a foam hot dog costume was screaming profanities while sprinting through a public fountain like it owed him child support.
"Get back here, you ketchup-covered coward!"
he howled, flinging a soggy bun at a street magician. Mothers gasped. Pigeons scattered. A baby dropped its pacifier in disbelief. At the epicenter of the chaos was Leslie Les, up narrator, disgraced children's book author, and full-time disaster. He was soaked to the buns, dripping mustard, holding a Sharpie in one hand and a half-empty bottle of tequila in the other. The Sharpie read, "For autographs." The tequila read, "This was a mistake."
"This is art!"
Lees shouted as two mall cops waded into the fountain like they were storming Normandy in orthopedic shoes.
"This is performance literature, you dim-witted parking lot Gestapo!"
"Sir, please step out of the fountain,"
one of the security guards said flatly, already unhooking his taser like he'd been waiting for this moment since 1993. Les froze. His eyes twitched. Then, he reached into his condiment-smeared costume and pulled out his self-published memoir, Once Upon a Crime, The Untold Story of Winnie the Pooh's Tax Fraud. He hurled it like a frisbee. The guard caught it, blinked, opened it to chapter 7. Piglet was a liar, and I can prove it. Then he tased Elise so hard his soul briefly left his body and filed a restraining order. 2 days later. Les sat in court, still smelling faintly of processed meat and regret. His hair stuck out in places that defied gravity and physics. One eyebrow was permanently raised from what he swore was trauma, but was more likely tequila poisoning. The judge, a woman in her late 60s, with the kind of haircut that said, "I own 12 cats and fear nothing," sighed heavily as she read his file.
"Mr. Up-Narrator," she said,
pinching the bridge of her nose.
"You were found half-naked in a fountain, yelling about literary conspiracies and threatening to shove a thesaurus up someone's ass alphabetically."
Les smiled proudly.
"It would have been in MLA format."
"You signed a child's face."
"I autographed his soul."
"You then proceeded to twerk on a police cruiser."
"I was being symbolic. It was a metaphor for censorship."
The courtroom went silent. The judge gave him the kind of stare that had ended marriages.
"I'm sentencing you to 100 hours of community service at the last surviving public library in the county."
Les blinked.
"Library? Like, where the homeless people yell at encyclopedias?"
"Yes,"
she replied.
"And don't worry, they're better read than you."
"Can I appeal this?"
She smiled.
"No. But you can shut the hell up."
Later that night, Les lay on a deflated air mattress in his studio apartment, surrounded by unpaid bills, expired cans of Four Loko, and one very judgmental goldfish named Hemingway. On the wall was a poster of his first book, a New York Times almost bestseller titled The Princess Who Farted Thunder, featuring a stick figure girl riding a dragon made of burritos. He stared at the ceiling.
"Library work,"
he mumbled.
"God's way of saying your career is a flaming bag of shit on the porch of destiny."
Hemingway blew a bubble. Les took it personally. He cracked open another drink and raised it to the fish.
"To rock bottom, my friend. May we never find the basement."
Outside, thunder rumbled. Somewhere in the distance, a book screamed in anticipation. Chapter 2. Enter the Plots. The sign out front read, Townsend Public Library, shh, since 1906. But the shh had been spray painted over. Someone had written, hell yeah, in Comic Sans. Underneath, in shaky red marker, books, bitches, destiny. Lee squinted at the building. It looked like a rejected Hogwarts annex. Cracked bricks, ivy strangling the gutters, a parking lot with exactly one car and 3 shopping carts doing donuts in the wind.
This is where great authors come to die,
Les muttered, stepping over a possum that might have been alive. Might have been a librarian. The front door creaked open like a horror movie jump scare. Dust motes danced in the shaft of morning light. Somewhere, a grandfather clock ticked dramatically, as if time itself was sick of this place's shit. Inside, it smelled like old pages, forgotten dreams, and Axe body spray. A bell rang, and then he appeared.
You must be the chosen one.
A voice boomed from behind the nonfiction section. Les flinched. From behind a leaning tower of unpaid fines and Dungeons and Dragons manuals emerged a man wearing a librarian badge that said, Randy Plotz, Head Wizard. A bathrobe with pizza stains, goggles, and Crocs with LED lights that blinked HELLO.
Name's Randall Aloysius Blutz.
The man said, gripping Les's hand like he was about to arm wrestle the devil.
But you can call me Randy, or Book Daddy. Your call.
Les blinked.
Why are you wearing a cape made out of VHS tapes?
Randy posed like Batman.
Because knowledge is sexy.
He turned on his heel and marched past the microfiche machine like a man who had lost both his job and his mind, but made peace with it.
Follow me,
he said.
Time for your orientation.
Orientation.
This,
Randy said dramatically, gesturing to a hallway of flickering lights and cobwebs,
is the Hall of Dewey.
It looks like a crime scene.
Randy nodded.
It is. A crime against literature. Someone put Stephen King in self-help.
Les sighed.
Look, man, I'm just here to do my time. I got sentenced because I mooned a statue of Dr. Seuss during a protest against gluten.
I read about you in BuzzFeed Cringe Weekly.
Randy said with admiration.
They said you were the Banksy of book perverts.
Les smiled.
Thank you, I think.
They reached a giant corkboard labeled Library Emergencies. Pinned to it, a photo of a possum in the fax machine. A post-it reading, Do not touch the globe. It knows things. A hand-drawn poster for something called the Sock Puppet Rebellion of 2019.
Now here's the deal.
Randy said, lighting a scented candle titled Forbidden Musk.
The library's dying. The city wants to turn it into a vape museum/axe throwing bar.
And they thought we could save it?
Oh, absolutely not.
Randy said cheerfully.
You're legally obligated to be here. I'm spiritually obligated. Also, I live in the supply closet.
Les stared.
Do you have a bed?
I am the bed.
Randy whispered. Introducing Mr. Quiet Time. Now meet the third member of our staff, Randy announced. From under the desk, he pulled out a sock puppet with googly eyes and a frown drawn in Sharpie.
This is Mr. Quiet Time. He's in charge of human resources.
Les laughed.
You're kidding.
Randy made the puppet nod slowly. Then, in a high-pitched voice,
Les, if you break library rules, I'll eat your soul and your lunch.
Les blinked.
Okay, I'm gonna need therapy and maybe a priest.
Mr. Quiet Time waved.
We don't do therapy here, just trauma bonds.
Randy nodded solemnly.
That's our motto.
The first task. Randy tossed Les a name tag. It read, Lease, intern, probably regretting this.
Your first assignment,
Randy said,
is reshelving the erotica section. Some pervert mixed it with cookbooks and now spanked and tenderized is next to grill like a man.
Les deadpanned.
And you don't see the poetry in that?
I felt the poetry in that.
Randy whispered. As Les dragged a cart full of horny cookbooks across the library, a small child approached and held up a picture book.
Excuse me, Mr. Hot Dog Man?
The child said.
This book made me feel things.
Les glanced at the title. If you give a mouse a safe word. He looked back at Randy, who was giving a thumbs up with both hands and a toe. Chapter 3, Book Club Bloodbath. Lees had fought many battles in his life against critics, editors, TSA agents, lactose, but nothing prepared him for Tuesdays at 3 p.m. That's when they arrived. They came with tote bags, orthopedic sandals, and enough side-eye to power a nuclear reactor. The Ladies of Literature, the Townsend Public Library's resident book club, aged 67 to Screw You Don't Ask, led by a silver-haired savage known only as Mabel. Les stood behind the front desk, holding a clipboard, wearing a name tag that now had Trauma Intern scribbled over his real name. Randy whispered beside him, breath smelling like cinnamon Altoids and poor decisions.
Don't look them directly in the eye,
he warned.
They can smell fear. And garlic.
Les blinked.
Is this an actual gang?
They once beat a man into early retirement for calling Little Women a bit whiny.
The doors creaked open. A floral storm rolled in. 5 women marched in perfect formation. They wore matching cardigans, murder in their eyes, and one of them carried a battle cane.
Greetings, page turners.
Mabel said, voice like a chainsaw wrapped in velvet.
I hope you've stocked the Merlot and removed the Nicholas Sparks. If I cry one more time over a hot fisherman, I'm burning this place down.
The setup. Lisa attempted a smile.
Welcome, ladies. I'm the new, assistant. I'll be helping with today's discussion.
Oh?
Mabel smiled sweetly.
Right.
Do you read books? Or just write failures? Les twitched.
I've been published, actually.
Another grandma leaned forward. So was Mein Kampf. Randy physically fell behind the desk. Les cleared his throat, determined not to be emotionally assassinated by someone with a tote bag that said, "Book sluts, do it with fiction."
Well,
He said tightly.
today's book is Eat, Pray, Love. Shall we discuss the narrative structure?
Oh, honey.
Mabel purred. We're gonna discuss you. The roast. For the next 45 minutes, Les endured a roast so brutal it violated the Geneva Convention. You look like the type of man who uses his baby pictures as his Tinder profile. Your hairline has abandonment issues. You wrote a book called The Princess Who Farted Thunder. I bought it for my grandson. Now he pees in jars and won't stop quoting you in court. You have the aura of a substitute teacher who's been reported to HR 3 times, but keeps showing up anyway. They circled him like literary velociraptors. One threw a slice of brie at him. Another sniffed and said, "You smell like regret and expired hummus." Les clutched the edge of the table.
This feels less like a book club and more like a hostage situation run by the Golden Girls if they'd done time.
Mabel took a long, slow sip of her wine.
We're not here to make friends. We're here to dissect themes.
Randy, now hiding behind a fake plant, whispered,
Do not mention the Great Gatsby. Sheila's still on parole.
"The escape." Desperate, Les tried to steer things back to the book.
So, Elizabeth Gilbert's spiritual journey.
I went on a spiritual journey once.
Said Edith, adjusting her oxygen tank.
It was called Burning Man 89. I haven't felt my left nipple since.
Another grandma perked up. I met a shaman named Gary, taught me how to astral project and how to make love without touching. Les choked on his own tongue. Mabel stood, hands clasped.
Well,
She said,
this meeting was as productive as a TikTok apology video. We'll see you next week, Mr. Fart Princess.
The women left in a gust of lavender perfume and judgment. Les sat frozen, one eye twitching. Randy emerged like a possum from hiding.
You survived.
He said reverently.
No one's made it past the first roast since 2014.
They made fun of my elbows.
They're known for that.
Closing moment. As the sun set through the cracked, stained glass, Les sat on the circulation desk, drinking expired Capri Sun and staring into the void.
Randy, this place is cursed.
He muttered. Randy nodded solemnly.
And yet, we return.
He handed Les a tiny cupcake with a sad candle.
Happy first book club.
Randy said. Les blew out the candle, and for a moment, the library was quiet. Then, the fax machine screamed and spit out a single sheet of paper. It read, return the book or she dies. Les blinked.
Was that a death threat from the copier?
Randy smiled, lighting incense.
Oh, buddy, you've met the grandmas. Now it's time to meet the restricted section.
Chapter 4. The Restricted Section. At precisely 2:42 a.m., Lise found himself tiptoeing through the library with a flashlight, a Snickers bar, and zero clue why he was doing this sober. The building creaked like it was breathing. The overhead lights flickered with the enthusiasm of a haunted carnival. Somewhere, a Roomba bumped repeatedly into a potted plant like it had given up on life. Behind him, Randy wore night vision goggles and whispered,
Welcome to the ass crack of forbidden knowledge, brother.
Les whispered back.
Why are we breaking into the restricted section?
Randy held up a crumpled note that had been faxed from hell earlier that day. It read, Return the book, or she dies. The Stacks.
I think the copier is possessed.
Randy said, holding a homemade EMF detector built out of a Tamagotchi and an electric toothbrush.
And it's demanding a sacrifice.
The door. They reached a locked steel door in the basement marked Restricted Section. Do not enter. Do not shelve. Do not ask. Below it, someone had taped a note. Mabel is banned. You know what you did. Les looked at Randy.
This feels like the part in a horror movie where the audience screams, "Don't open that door!"
Randy beamed.
Exactly why I installed a fog machine.
He turned the key. Thunder rumbled. Somewhere, a crow cawed. Les stepped inside. It was dark, musty, and somehow moaning. The Stacks. Shelves leaned like drunk grandfathers. Books pulsed with dust. Some were chained shut. One of them hissed.
Why do half these books have warning labels?
Les asked. Randy pointed to a glowing title. Nancy Drew and the Curse of IRS Fraud.
That one made 4 interns cry and join cults.
Les's flashlight landed on a strange black book, sitting alone on a pedestal. Its cover was made of what looked like leathered skin and broken promises. It read, Volume 666, The Bibliognomicon. He reached for it. Randy tackled him.
Are you out of your mind?
He whisper-yelled.
That's the book that made a substitute librarian speak only in C++ for 6 weeks.
It's just a book,
Les said.
No,
Randy hissed.
it's a plot device.
But Les had already opened it. The Possession. A gust of wind exploded from the book, even though they were in a windowless basement. Every light flickered. The shelves rattled. Randy stood up slowly, wide-eyed. Then, in a terrifying moment of silence, he opened his mouth and spoke in perfect Latin. Les backed away. Bro? Randy's eyes rolled back. His voice deepened 6 octaves. His body went stiff as he lifted Mr. Quiet Time, the sock puppet, and screamed,
I am Lexicon, devourer of syllables.
Lee screamed like a goat. The puppet's googly eyes glowed. A paperback copy of The Alchemist burst into flames. Books flew off the shelves. The Dewey Decimal signs spun like possessed slot machines. The fax machine upstairs started printing non-stop pages that all said, nope. Randy floated 2 inches off the ground. Les grabbed a copy of Twilight, Eclipse, and slapped him across the face.
Come back to me, you vibrating lunatic!
Randy dropped to the floor like a deflated bouncy castle. Silence. The fog machine wheezed out one last sad puff. Aftermath. Randy blinked.
Did I try to marry the sock puppet again?
Les was hyperventilating.
You just channeled a demonic librarian ghost and melted an entire romance section.
Randy sat up.
So, productive night?
They looked at the open book. Its pages fluttered like it was breathing.
I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Les muttered, slamming the cover shut and sitting on it. Randy, now half possessed and completely unbothered, pulled out a Capri Sun and whispered,
We've awakened something ancient, Les. Something overdue.
Final moment. The lights flickered once more. From deep within the stacks came a whisper, soft and raspy. They bolted upstairs like Scooby-Doo on meth. Les yelled,
This place needs an exorcism and a grant.
Randy shouted,
And a therapy dog that reads books.
Behind them, the restricted section door slammed shut on its own. The fog machine exploded, and the copy of Chicken Soup for the Soul caught fire. Chapter 5. The Banned Book Ball. The flyer read, the first annual Banned Book Costume Ball. Come dressed as your favorite band character, or band in general, drinks, dancing, and maybe demons. 7 p.m. until the cops show up. In the center was a blurry clip art of a flaming book and a photo of Randy licking a stack of encyclopedias. Les read it aloud, blinked twice, and said,
This looks like something created by a feral AI on acid.
Thank you.
Randy said, glitter all over his face.
I used Canva and Rage.
The setup. The library had been transformed into a haunted nerd rave. The reference section was now a dance floor, with strobe lights duct-taped to ceiling fans. The historical archives were a makeshift bar with drinks named after band titles. The Catcher in the Rye Whiskey, Lolita Limoncello, To Kill a Tequila Shot. The bathrooms had signs reading, Gender is a social construct, pee freely. A fog machine wheezed from behind the card catalog like a demon with asthma. Mr. Quiet Time sat on a throne of shredded Twilight pages, holding a sign that read, Silence is dead, dance. Costume chaos. Les came out of the back room wearing round glasses, a lightning bolt on his forehead, and a black robe with red tape over his mouth.
Who the hell are you supposed to be?
Randy asked, wearing a 50 Shades of Grey costume that was just duct tape, rope, and a clipboard labeled Consent.
I'm censored Harry Potter.
Les said.
Technically, he's banned in parts of Texas. Also, I'm not allowed near theme parks anymore.
Randy gave a thumbs up.
Perfect. You look like a Hot Topic lawsuit.
Other partygoers showed up in increasingly cursed interpretations of banned literature. One guy wore nothing but a fig leaf and a name tag that read, Adam, before the plot thickened. A woman showed up as the Scarlet Letter, just wearing a red A and vibes. A goth teen came dressed as Mouse, and Les whispered,
That's either brilliant satire or a hate crime.
By 8:30 p.m., a jazz band composed entirely of ex-librarians was playing WAP on clarinets. At 8:45 p.m., someone set fire to the Grapes of Wrath and yelled, The farmers deserved better. The incident. Les stood at the mic.
Ladies, gentlemen, and plot twist, thank you for coming to the first and possibly last banned book ball. If you're here, you either love literature or got kicked out of your cousin's baby shower. Either way, respect.
Someone threw a bra. Les smiled.
Tonight's about freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, and freedom to get wine drunk at a place that usually smells like printer ink and disappointment.
Cheers.
And now a reading from Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret.
He opened the book. Thunder cracked. The fog machine screamed. Mr. Quiet Time's head rotated 360 degrees. Randy screamed,
It's happening again.
The lights cut out. The fire alarm blared. The sprinklers activated and sprayed red wine. A guy dressed as the Communist Manifesto screamed,
The party's been infiltrated!
A librarian in a thong whispered,
This is what Orwell warned us about.
Before belly flopping into the fountain. The arrest. The cops showed up at 9:12 p.m. They walked in, surveyed the scene. Shirtless people reading aloud from Fight Club. 2 grandmas twerking to Fahrenheit 451. Randy riding a Roomba like it was a mechanical bull, and quietly called for backup. One officer spotted Les and said,
Didn't I tase you in a hot dog costume last month?
Les raised his hands.
For the record, I'm sober this time.
Not better,
the cop replied. Randy, still wearing rope and half a sock puppet, screamed.
We were defending democracy.
They were both handcuffed and walked past a banner that now read, Banned books, free minds, bad decisions. Post-party. By 11 p.m., the library was empty, damp, smoldering slightly. Randy and Les sat on the floor, hands bandaged, drinking Gatorade stolen from the book club fridge. Les looked around at the wreckage.
Well, that escalated.
Randy nodded.
But we raised $73 and half a Xanax.
Les smiled.
We're gonna save this library, Randy.
Randy grinned back.
Even if we have to burn every goddamn classic to do it.
Mr. Quiet Time lay face down in a bowl of guacamole, twitching. And somewhere in the restricted section, the Biblionomicon's pages flipped on their own, as if reading themselves, and laughing. Chapter 6. Silence is Violence. It started with a note, a simple piece of paper pinned to the front desk with a half-eaten granola bar and written in scratchy all caps. Sharpie, this place is too damn loud. Sincerely, a library ghost. Also, stop microwaving fish. Les stared at it.
We don't even have a microwave.
Randy popped up from behind the desk, covered in glitter and holding a yoga mat.
That's why I built one out of a George Foreman grill in pure rage.
Les sighed.
We're losing control between the sock puppet possession, the wine sprinkler system, and whatever that cult orgy was in the self-help aisle last night.
It was themed.
Randy protested.
The 7 habits of highly horny people.
We need to get this place quiet before the city sends an inspector or a priest.
Randy squinted.
So we're enforcing silence in a building that contains you, me, and a haunted fax machine?
Les nodded grimly.
It's time for silent protocol.
The plan. Step 1. Install silence zones. Step 2. Whisper only story time. Step 3. Yoga for energy suppression. They handed out pamphlets with soft fonts and images of monks frowning. Les put up signs reading, "Silence is golden, screaming is $50. You yell, you spell, every book in the Russian section. Yoga story time, the calm before hell." The children's area had been transformed into a Zen garden with beanbags, crystals, and a fog machine repurposed to blow lavender-scented mist. Les stood at the front in loose sweatpants, holding a copy of Goodnight Moon and whispering like a hostage negotiator.
And the quiet old lady whispering hush.
Behind him, Randy led the yoga poses.
Now downward dog, now corpse pose, now summon your ancestors using your butt chakra.
Les turned around.
What?
Quietly summon them, Les.
One kid farted so hard the beanbags shifted. Les pushed on.
And goodnight stars and goodnight air.
That's when it began. The possession again. The lights flickered, the crystals began to vibrate. Mr. Quiet Time, sitting cross-legged and wearing a mini robe, slowly turned his sock head 180 degrees and whispered in a demonic growl, "Shh." Randy froze.
Oh no, he's back.
Les dropped Goodnight Moon.
Who's back?
The shusher, Randy whispered. A wrathful spirit of silence, banned from the library in 1987 for excessive tisking.
The children screamed. One levitated slightly. Randy grabbed a bowl of calming tea lights and hurled it like a grenade.
Back to the void, you ASMR demon.
Mr. Quiet Time rose into the air, arms stretched like Jesus at a rave. Books flew off the shelves. Someone's iPad exploded. The lavender mist turned black and spelled out, "Shut up forever." Les, panicked, began chanting from the very hungry caterpillar.
In the light of the moon, he ate through one apple. He wasn't even loud about it, damn it.
A copy of The Sound and the Fury burst into flames. The Exorcism of Quiet. Randy grabbed the microphone and began reciting the most chaotic anti-silence spell he could think of.
Baba Booey. Baba freaking Booey. In this house we scream, we meme, and we beam. By the power of Limp Bizkit and every unreturned DVD, I banish you, shusher, back to Whisper Hell.
The lights exploded. Mr. Quiet Time's eyes went black, rolled back, and the puppet collapsed in a pile of glitter and trauma. Silence. True silence. Even the Roomba stopped to weep. Aftermath. The children's section looked like a horror movie set designed by Dr. Seuss on cocaine. Les sat in a pile of burnt beanbags, whispering, "Hush, little baby," to his own pulse. Randy picked up Mr. Quiet Time, gently.
He'll live, but he's gonna need therapy, and maybe some Febreze.
From upstairs, the copier groaned and printed a single page. Too loud, too proud. Shh, it's happening again. Les looked around.
So much for peace and quiet.
Randy nodded.
Maybe this place doesn't want to be quiet.
Les stared up at the cracked ceiling, dead-eyed.
Maybe this library is hell.
From behind a shelf, Mabel, the book club queen, appeared holding a bloodied yoga mat.
I liked the demon. At least it knew when to shut up.
Chapter 7, Scanner Wars. Les stepped outside the library with coffee in one hand and a stress tick in his left eye. Across the street, rising like a chrome-plated dystopian nightmare, stood I Read Tim, a future library experience. It had a juice bar, facial recognition bookshelves, touchless everything, and a goddamn slide instead of stairs. Les blinked.
Is that a DJ in the periodical section?
Randy popped up next to him, binoculars in one hand and a boiled egg in the other.
They have drone returns. The books fly back.
A quadcopter zipped past and dropped a hardcover copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad into a robotic return slot shaped like Jeff Bezos' head. Les groaned.
They're gonna crush us!
Randy's voice dropped to a whisper.
Then it's time for war.
The challenge. That afternoon, a smug 20-something named Bryce from I Read strutted into Townsend Library, wearing all white and enough cologne to kill a pigeon. He wore skinny jeans, a man bun, and a name tag that read, Bryce, Head of User Optimization and Vibes.
"Hey guys,"
he said, smiling like he'd just kicked a librarian out of a helicopter.
"Heard your building still uses paper. That's like so rustic."
Les twitched.
Our copier is haunted.
Vibes.
Bryce nodded, like that somehow helped.
"We're opening a VR Hemingway exhibit next week. Guests can feel the alcoholism."
Randy stepped forward.
You listen to me, you Kindle-cuddling little startup sperm. You've awakened the shelf warriors.
Bryce raised a perfect eyebrow. Oh? Randy held up a barcode scanner like it was Excalibur.
I challenge you to the library games.
The scanner war begins. The next day, they cleared out the library's main floor. The battle arena was set. The floor was covered in old newspapers and stress mats from the 1980s. Weapons included handheld barcode scanners, rolling library carts, overdue fee receipts, and sharpened bookmarks. Mabel was the judge. Her robe was made entirely of recycled cookbooks.
May the loudest team lose,
she declared. Round 1. Scanner duel. Lee squared off against Bryce in a barcode scan-off. Rules: scan as many books as fast as possible without miscategorizing.
This one's 398.2, mythology.
Bryce.
That's young adult contemporary.
Les squinted.
It's Beowulf.
Bryce smirked.
Well, it has dragons. Dragons test well with Gen Z.
Lee screamed and accidentally scanned his own hand. The system labeled him miscellaneous trash. Round 2. Cart jousting. Randy rolled in wearing shoulder pads made of cookbooks and a helmet labeled Dewey Do Me. He mounted his book cart and faced his I Read opponent, a TikTok intern named Skylar, who was live streaming from a hoverboard.
Mabel blew an air horn made of PVC pipe.
They charged. Skylar's hoverboard glitched mid-spin and launched her into the self-help section. Randy yelled,
"For Gutenberg!"
and clotheslined a cardboard cutout of James Patterson. Round 3. Sudden Death. Dewey Maze. Final round. A labyrinth made of bookshelves where teams must find and correctly shelve 10 books. while being chased by a rogue Roomba wearing knives. Les, bleeding from a paper cut that was definitely infected with regret, whispered,
If I die in here, delete my browser history.
Randy handed him a pocket thesaurus and nodded.
Go out with synonyms.
They sprinted into the maze. He's in the 200s. No, I saw him in philosophy. I found Twilight filed under psychological horror. The Roomba screamed, literally screamed. Bryce tried to throw a copy of The Secret to confuse Les, but tripped over a stack of For Dummies books and fell face first into a shelf labeled Irony. Les filed the last book.
792.23 improv comedy.
A bell rang. Victory. Aftermath. The Townsend Library erupted in cheers. Bryce, bruised and covered in glitter, groaned from the floor.
You bastards don't even have Wi-Fi.
Randy lifted Mr. Quiet Time, who was wearing war paint made from highlighters.
We have something better,
he said proudly.
We have personality disorders and back pain.
Mabel nodded, sipping boxed wine.
The soul of a library isn't tech. It's pettiness, judgment, and stories that smell like mildew.
Les leaned back against a stack of unsorted romance novels and exhaled.
We actually won against the future.
Randy patted his shoulder.
The past is due, baby, and it wants revenge.
Chapter 8. The Ex Libris Affair. It was a slow Tuesday. Lees was restocking the erotica shelf while trying not to read anything that would ruin his ability to make eye contact in public. He was midway through reshelving Lust in the Time of Cholera when the front door opened, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees. In walked a woman, a librarian-shaped war crime. She wore a pencil skirt like it had a vendetta, glasses that could cut glass, a name tag that read, Selena Page, Regional Librarian Compliance Agent. She moved like danger, smelled like vanilla and vengeance. Les dropped Spank Me, Hamlet, onto his own foot. Randy poked his head up from behind a stack of vintage almanacs. His eyes went wide. His soul left his body.
No.
The history.
She's my ex.
Randy hissed, dragging Les into the supply closet like a panicked raccoon.
You dated that?
She used to be cool. She made me a mixed CD called Songs to Dewey 2.
Les blinked.
That's the most disturbingly nerdy thing I've ever heard.
She used to believe in the power of late fees. Now she works for iRead. She's the reason they removed Where's Waldo for being visually overwhelming.
She's hot, Randy.
She's evil.
The flirtation. Selena walked through the library like a shark in a cardigan. She passed Les, smiled just enough to ruin his week, and said,
Are you the one who shelved 50 Shades of Grey under DIY?
Les coughed.
That was a clerical error?
She leaned closer.
Or a cry for help?
His ears turned red. His pants questioned everything. The seduction. That evening, Les stayed late. Selena stayed later. She claimed she was inspecting shelf durability, but somehow they ended up sitting across from each other, sharing cold coffee and discussing the socio-political implications of the magic treehouse. She laughed. He melted, her legs crossed like a loaded weapon.
You're funny,
she said.
You're everything,
Les replied, already mentally building their IKEA bed. Behind the stacks, Randy watched through binoculars made from 2 toilet paper rolls, whispering,
Don't fall for it, you magnificent idiot. She's here for intel. She wants our floor plans. Our floor plans.
The sabotage. The next morning, the inventory system was corrupted. The self-checkout machine was speaking Russian, and Mr. Quiet Time had "Trust No Bitch" stitched into his sock body. Randy stormed into Les's office, which was just a chair and a whiteboard that said "Ideas" with nothing beneath it.
She installed malware in our return kiosk.
Les blinked.
She installed love in my heart.
She installed spyware in your soul, dumbass. Check the return log. It says every book was borrowed by daddy government.
Les crossed his arms.
You're just jealous because she left you for better shelving standards.
Randy screamed into a copy of Eat, Pray, Love and then bit it. The confrontation. That night, Les confronted Selena in the archives, candles flickering, jazz from a broken speaker playing at half speed.
Are you here to destroy this place?
He asked. She smiled softly.
What if I was here to save you?
Their eyes locked. She leaned in and stabbed a barcode scanner into his pocket. Les gasped.
You tagged me!
She smirked.
I had to know how far the virus had spread. Turns out, pretty far down.
The escape. Randy crashed through the skylight. Why was there a skylight? No one knew. Rolled across the floor and hit Selena with a thesaurus. Not in my library, batch! A full chase broke out. They ran through nonfiction, ducked behind periodicals, and finally cornered her near the microfiche, where all final boss battles should occur. Selena stared them down, disheveled but defiant.
You think you've won? iRead has budgets. What do you have?
Les looked at Randy. Randy looked at Les. Together, they said,
Community service, trauma bonding, and a haunted sock.
Selena hissed like a Kindle on fire and vanished into the night. Aftermath. Les sat on the rooftop with Randy, both eating cold mozzarella sticks and silently processing betrayal.
She kissed me with tongue,
Les said, dead-eyed.
She tracked your search history, dude.
Randy replied.
She knows about your Twilight fanfiction.
A long silence. Then they fist bumped.
Next time,
Randy said.
We seduce them.
Les nodded.
Let's just not use the sock puppet.
Mr. Quiet Time glowed ominously. Chapter 9. The Fundraiser Fiasco. Randy kicked open the staff room door, wearing an apron that said, Kiss the cook, fear the librarian.
We're out of money,
he declared, face smudged with flour and vengeance.
And I've already pawned my encyclopedias. We need to raise funds.
Lay looked up from a nap inside a pile of unsorted returns.
How much do we need?
Enough to replace the microfiche machine, bribe the fire marshal, and buy Mabel's silence about the yoga exorcism.
Les blinked.
So like $200?
Randy nodded.
Or 3 kidneys on the dark web, but I already sold mine to buy printer toner.
Les stood up.
Then it's settled. We throw a bake sale.
A moment of pure silence. Then Randy whispered,
God forgive us.
The bake sale. The flyers were innocent enough. Townsend Library Community Bake Sale. Family friendly. Kids safe. Bring grandma. In small print, all proceeds go to Stuff We Definitely Didn't Break Fund. The parking lot was transformed into a carnival of half-baked chaos. A bounce house shaped like a book. Randy's Cupcake Cannon, which was a t-shirt launcher loaded with frosted pastries. Mabel's Wine and Pie Tent, where things started wholesome and ended with 3 arrests and a spontaneous strip poker table. The gambling begins. At 11:15 a.m., Mabel discovered the bake sale cash box had only $23 and a coupon for foot cream. She pulled Randy aside.
We need real money. You got a back room?
What kind of bake sale do you think this is?
Mabel lit a Virginia Slim and said,
The profitable kind.
By noon, the children's reading room had become an underground gambling den. The entry code was, The Cake is a Lie. Inside, retired librarians threw dice over Nancy Drew novels. Poker chips were replaced by rare bookmarks and first edition Garfield comics. A toddler, confused and sticky with icing, wandered out with $400 in cash and said,
I own property now.
The blackout. At 2:03 p.m., Randy plugged in a cotton candy machine he bought from a guy named Cracklin' Ron. The library's already shaky electrical system screamed, shorted out, and triggered a blackout across 5 city blocks. Les stood in total darkness.
Okay, no lights, no electricity, but we're fine.
A scream rang out. There's a feral boy in the nonfiction section. Randy emerged holding a flashlight and covered in frosting.
Not feral. He's just emotionally unsupervised.
The toddler auction. This part is complicated. A sign was meant to say, toddler story time, 3 p.m. But during the blackout, some letters got rearranged by sticky little hands, so it now read, toddler auction, 3 p.m. By the time Les noticed, there was a line of wine-drunk grandmas waving checkbooks. One yelled, "I'll give you $200 for the quiet one." Another shouted, "I'll trade 2 cats and a VHS copy of Ghost." Randy jumped on a table.
This is a misunderstanding. We're not selling babies.
A toddler, confused but entrepreneurial, whispered, "I'll sell myself if I get to keep the juice boxes." The raid. At 3:17 p.m., the SWAT team showed up. Why? Someone, Mabel, may or may not have posted on Facebook,
Live auction. Kids. No rules. Cash only.
They kicked down the storytime door. Flashbangs flew. Juice boxes exploded. Someone tackled a sock puppet. Mr. Quiet Time screamed in Latin and pissed himself, unclear how. Les and Randy were zip-tied next to the non-fiction rack as an officer read them their rights over a fallen tray of gluten-free lemon squares. The aftermath. Hours later, the charges were dropped due to unbelievable levels of stupidity. The SWAT commander said,
"You're not criminals. You're just dumb."
Les and Randy sat outside the ruined parking lot. Randy sipped melted snow cone syrup from a boot.
We made $7, and a toddler unionized.
Les stared into the distance.
This library is gonna kill us.
From inside, the copier began printing a single message over and over. "I warned you. The stacks." Chapter 10. The Mayor Mustn't Know. At 8 a.m., Les was jolted awake by the copier printing aggressively into his mouth. He bolted upright, covered in glitter, ribbon bookmarks, and something that might have been pudding. Randy stood over him, holding a fistful of fax paper and hyperventilating.
"She's coming,"
he hissed. Les groaned.
If this is about your recurring dream where Mabel turns into a fire truck again...
No, you dingus. The mayor. Today, 10 a.m. sharp.
Les blinked. Why?
To check if we're fit for continued funding. If she sees so much as one cursed puppet or toddler knife fight, we're toast.
Les rubbed his eyes.
Define toast.
Randy held up a drawing labeled DEFCON Dumbass with stick figures on fire and the words "No Puppets" circled 17 times. Prep mode. Within 30 minutes, Randy had bribed a group of homeschooled kids to dress as quiet reading angels. Mr. Quiet Time was duct-taped into a filing cabinet. Mabel was locked in the basement with 3 bottles of Merlot and a stack of erotic crossword puzzles. Les, meanwhile, was sweating through a child-sized blazer labeled Head Librarian, definitely not possessed, and blinking uncontrollably.
I feel weird,
he muttered. Randy didn't look up from vacuuming glitter off an actual priest.
You're probably just nervous.
I blacked out and woke up inside the typewriter room.
That's normal.
With a Latin tattoo on my ass?
Randy stopped.
Okay, that one might be the haunted typewriter's fault.
The haunted typewriter. Deep in the back room, they'd long since forgotten about room 404, a windowless storage closet containing one clunky Royal 440 typewriter, 17 unfinished manuscripts, and the lingering spiritual residue of a failed novelist named Carlton Wexley. The mayor was 5 minutes out, and Les was clearly channeling Carlton. His pupils were dilated. He spoke in metaphors. He kept whispering, Chapter 17. Chapter 17 is blood. Randy slapped him with a dictionary.
Stay with me, Les. The mayor doesn't like performance art or blood rituals. We have to pass this inspection.
Les growled.
I am the prologue.
Randy pulled out Mr. Quiet Time, now wearing a tiny priest collar.
We do this the old-fashioned way, puppet exorcism.
The Possession Tour. 9:58 a.m. Mayor Gloria DeFranco arrived wearing a bright blazer, Ray-Bans, and the aura of a woman who could bankrupt you with a single eyebrow raise.
Hello, boys.
she said.
I'm here to see if you still qualify for taxpayer funding. Impress me.
Les stepped forward, twitching.
Welcome to the Townsend Public Library, where we believe in literacy, community, and the inevitable collapse of time.
Randy whispered.
Jesus, Carlton's still in there.
Les continued.
Over here is our youth section, where children read gently or are devoured by shadows.
The mayor raised a brow.
What?
Fables! I meant fables!
Randy laughed, nudging Les and pulling a string that caused a curtain to drop, revealing a taxidermied owl wearing a monocle.
Say hi to Professor Who,
Randy blurted.
He teaches reading comprehension and occasional death stares.
Les began foaming at the mouth. The mayor frowned.
Is he okay?
He's just passionate,
Randy said, dragging Les down the aisle by his collar.
Let's move to the presentation room.
The slideshow incident. Les stood in front of the projection screen, pupils still glowing faintly.
Now, we present a brief visual demonstration of our literacy outreach program.
Randy hit play. The screen lit up. Slide 1, a happy child reading. Slide 2, a happy child reading with Les. Slide 3, Les in a thong, eating pudding, labeled late night shelving. Slide 4, a satanic symbol. Slide 5, the word chapter 17 in blood. Les cackled.
The story will be told.
Randy slapped the projector.
Technical difficulties? Too many fonts?
Mayor DeFranco stood frozen.
What the actual fuckmick is going on?
The final meltdown. Lees levitated 4 inches off the ground and shouted,
The due date is eternal.
Books flew. A bookshelf collapsed. Mabel burst from the basement screaming, Who took my pie? Covered in crossword puzzle dust. The mayor turned slowly.
I'll give you 1 minute to explain this.
Randy tackled Les to the ground, yanked Mr. Quiet Time out of the file cabinet, and shoved the puppet in Les's face.
Quiet time exorcism protocol.
Mr. Quiet Time squeaked.
Get out, you sad dear novelist.
A cloud of ghostly dust erupted from Les's body. He collapsed, blinking.
Did I just quote Faulkner while dry humping a typewriter?
Yes,
Randy said.
And you nailed it.
The mayor stared. Randy stepped forward, straightened his cardigan, and smiled.
Would you like a juice box?
The result. Hours later, Randy and Les sat on the roof, covered in soot, pudding, and regret. Les groaned.
Did we get defunded?
Randy pulled out a letter. Congratulations. Despite obvious signs of mental illness and minor demonic interference, your passion for literacy is undeniable. Mayor G. DeFranco. Randy grinned.
We're funded. For another year.
Les looked up at the sky.
This place is a cult.
Mr. Quiet Time, now smoking a tiny cigarette, whispered,
Cult of personality disorders.
Chapter 11, 1-Star Apocalypse. It began with a ping. Les was halfway through alphabetizing the erotic memoir section, again, when Randy burst in, waving his phone like it had just personally insulted his mother.
We've been reviewed.
Les blinked.
You mean like Yelp?
Randy's voice cracked.
Worse, TikTok.
He played the video. A smug, soft-spoken 19-year-old appeared on screen, sipping boba and standing outside the library.
Hey, book babes, it's Carson. I visited Townsend Library and... yikes. Smells like expired glue. There was a sock puppet wearing a collar. A man yelled, Chapter 17 is blood. Also, I'm pretty sure I got cursed. 1 star, 0 vibes, burn it down, bye.
The video ended with a slow zoom on Les, sleeping face down in a beanbag, shirtless, covered in Cheeto dust, and holding a copy of 50 Shades of Chicken. Les looked up.
I don't even remember being awake that day.
Randy was already packing.
We gotta fix this. This is how it ends. We'll be banned from Book Talk. Book Talk, Les. That's where horny readers go to yell about fey princes and emotionally unavailable vampires. That's our base.
The damage. By noon, the library's Google rating dropped to 1.2 stars. Someone tagged their building on Instagram as Yate Olde Asbestos Shack. The sock puppet trended under number Kinky Kermit. A local poet chain-smoked outside with a sign that read, "Death to the digitally illiterate." Les groaned.
What do we do?
Randy's eyes gleamed.
We rebrand.
Les blinked.
You mean like new paint?
Randy grinned.
Number like Beyonce?
The rebranding plan. Step 1, drop a library rap anthem. Step 2, host an emergency bookfluencer bash. Step 3, burn one carefully selected book to symbolize rebirth. Step 4, capture the TikToker and force him to admit we're amazing. Les raised a hand.
I'd like to revisit step 4.
Randy shushed him.
We're going viral or to jail, buddy.
The rap video. Title, Shh. Stack Life Anthem. Lyrics by Randy, beat made on a calculator. Shot entirely on an iPad, duct taped to a rolling chair. Les rapped while wearing a trench coat made of overdue notices.
Dewey Decimal, feel the decimal heat, shelving knowledge in these dusty-ass streets. From Poe to Rowling, we got that spice. Come overdue, you pay that price.
Cut to Randy in a hoodie with "Read or Die" on it, twerking on a cart of encyclopedias. Mr. Quiet Time appears, doing the worm. Someone in the background sets a dictionary on fire. A librarian weeps. The book burning. To symbolize transformation, Randy picks a safe book to torch at the rebrand party. A shredded copy of Twilight Breaking Dawn, Part 2. Someone had used as a coaster. Les lights it with a Bic. Suddenly, they're burning books! An old man in a beret throws a latte at them. A child screams, "No! Vampires!" A group of actual witches show up and start hexing the building with lavender oil and side eyes. Les panics and tries to stomp out the fire, but trips and lands in the charred remains, yelling,
"We're rebranding, not erasing culture!"
The hostage. Carson, the TikTok reviewer, shows up to film a response video and mock them in real time. Randy sees red.
You little algorithm-humping weasel?
What?
You've never even read a fucking book, have you?
Carson blinked.
Excuse me, I annotated red, white, and royal blue with scented markers.
That's a fan fiction with diplomats.
In a fit of rage, Randy gently traps Carson in the historical fiction aisle, using a broom and a shopping cart.
No Wi-Fi, no exits, just vibes.
The meltdown. The mayor calls mid-crisis.
Why is there a child crying on Twitter saying your puppet bit him?
Les, currently shirtless and covered in glitter, replies.
In fairness, the child did threaten to return a book dog-eared.
Carson escapes by uploading a TikTok mid-hostage. The caption, "Help! They made me rap. I fear the puppet. Should save Carson." It goes viral. The unexpected twist. The video blows up. Save Carson trends. But people love it. The comments are full of, "Why does this library go so hard? That rap slaps. They kidnapped a TikToker? Iconic. Where do I get that Read or Die hoodie?" By morning, the library has 80,000 new followers, a merch deal, and a sponsorship from Audible. Carson returns voluntarily to collab on a video series called Book Talk, but unhinged. Epilogue. Les and Randy sit on beanbags, drinking chocolate milk and watching their follower count rise. Randy smiles.
Sometimes to be heard. You gotta scream and rhyme while holding a puppet hostage.
Les nods.
This place is still cursed.
The copier prints a message. 1 star. Still haunted. The Stacks. Chapter 12. America's Next Hot Institution. The invitation arrived on scented paper. Randy tore it open with the urgency of someone who thought it might contain cocaine or coupons. Congratulations! You've been selected to represent Townsend Public Library in this year's televised competition, America's next hot institution. One library, one crown, $1 million in government funding, and a year's supply of printer ink. Bring your best. Or go home laminated. Les blinked.
Is this real?
Randy was already halfway into a leotard made of overdue notices.
This is destiny.
The show. They arrived on set in a borrowed bookmobile that smelled like regret and expired ham. Inside a neon-lit warehouse was a stage shaped like a giant open book, flanked by 3 glittering letters, ANHI. An announcer's voice boomed overhead like Zeus with a podcast mic.
Welcome to America's next hot institution. Our judges, Debbie Dewey, founder of Dewey Decimal. After Dark TM had Blaze Thrust, TikTok's sexiest trivia host, Sir Raidalot, drag queen poet, and local ordinance violation.
Les muttered,
This is either my dream or a fever hallucination.
Round 1, Trivia Bloodbath. Each team stood at custom podiums. Randy slapped their buzzer before the first question was even asked. It buzzed like a dying duck. Question: what's the classification for paranormal romance involving shirtless werewolves and toxic relationships? Les buzzed in.
306.7, but emotionally 911.
Correct. Next team, San Junipero Tech Library. Answer: the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Wrong. Also, that wasn't the question. Score: Townsend Library, 3. Everyone else embarrassed. Round 2, Talent Showcase. One library performed an interpretive dance called The Quiet Between the Pages. It involved mime. Another did live origami, with historical maps. Then came Townsend. Les stepped onto the stage wearing a bedazzled lab coat and wheeling out an overhead projector rigged with sparklers. Randy appeared behind him on a rolling cart, holding Mr. Quiet Time, now wearing a tuxedo and sunglasses.
We present a puppet reenactment of The Great Gatsby, but every character is Nick and drunk.
Mr. Quiet Time.
I, Nick, saw Nick talking to Nick while Nick punched Nick into the pool. The end.
Blaze Thrust clapped.
Emotionally devastating. Sibunyi Sib.
Sir Redalot dabbed a tear.
I've never felt more violently American.
Round 3, the sabotage. That night in the contestant bunkhouse. Yes, there was a bunkhouse. Randy burst into Les's room holding a blacklight and a crowbar.
We're being sabotaged.
Les, half asleep with pudding smeared on his cheek, blinked.
Is this about the ghost again?
Number someone pissed in our card catalog.
The lights flickered. Sirens wailed. Someone had defaced their banner to read Townsend Public Lies. Les stood up.
We ride.
The confrontation. They snuck into the mobile drag book bus camp to confront their top rivals, the Read My Lips book, Queens. Inside was a haze of setting spray, sass, and jazz. Miss Dewey Decibel, a 6 feet 5 inches drag queen in a gown made of banned books, turned slowly.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the sock puppet sluts.
Les stepped forward.
Did you sabotage us?
Decibel smirked.
Darling, I don't sabotage. I edit.
Randy whispered,
She's so powerful.
The dance-off. Challenge: settle the beef with a literary lip-sync battle. Track: WAP, but performed entirely in Shakespearean English. Decibel.
Hence cometh the wet-ass putteth of womanhood, anon.
Randy countered with a one-man rendition of Julius Caesar set to super bass. Les stripped off his shirt and yelled,
Call me Holden Caulfield, because I'm catching these damn vibes.
A fog machine exploded. Mr. Quiet Time did a death drop. The judges screamed. The audience roared. The decision. Next morning, the judges gathered on the main stage. Sir Read-A-Lot.
This was insane, offensive, absolutely disrespectful to literature.
Blaze Thrust.
You broke at least 6 copyright laws.
Debbie Dewey.
You win.
Townsend Public Library is America's next hot institution. Confetti blasted. Randy fainted. Les kissed a stack of dictionaries. Mr. Quiet Time got a book deal. Aftermath. Back at the library, they installed a gold plaque reading Hottest Institution 2025, sponsored by Chaos. Randy sighed, sipping champagne from a juice box.
We did it.
Les nodded.
Well, this place is still haunted.
The copier printed. Chapter 13 is coming, and it has notes. Chapter 13. Chapter 17 is blood. It started, as most tragedies do, with a typewriter. Not just any typewriter. Carlton Wexley's Royal 440. It sat in room 404, blinking inhumanly under fluorescent light. The dust had cleared. The keys were moving on their own. Typing, typing, typing. Chapter 17, Blood, by Carlton Wexley, a novel in one unforgivable act. The final page curled from the roller and fell to the floor, steaming. The door to room 404 slammed shut, and the library began to tremble. The manifestation. Randy woke up with a start.
Did you feel that?
Les rolled over, groaning.
I'm hungover on printer ink and bad decisions. I feel everything.
The building shook again. The lights flickered. Then, from every intercom speaker, a voice crackled to life. A deep, bitter, rage-fueled voice.
The world will read me.
Randy sat up.
Holy shit, it's Wexley. He finished the book.
Les blinked.
How do you know it's him?
Randy turned on the fax machine. It screamed and spat out a single page. 1-star reviews will burn. The attack. Books began flying off shelves. Self-help tomes screamed in shame. Every copy of Twilight combusted violently. The walls began bleeding. Ink. In the erotica section, a copy of Hot Librarians Volume 2 floated and said in a guttural moan,
Too many metaphors. Too many metaphors.
The typewriter dragged itself out of room 404, leaving a trail of red highlighted manuscripts and rejection letters. Behind it floated a translucent man in a tweed jacket, chain-smoking and glaring like an unpaid workshop instructor. Carlton Wexley had returned.
You dismissed me.
He boomed.
You called me overwritten. You told me to tighten my middle act. Now I'll tighten yours.
Les screamed.
We don't even work in publishing.
Wexley pointed at Randy.
You called my protagonist unrelatable.
Randy ducked behind a shelf.
I said he sounded like a guy who tries to sell crypto in a funeral home.
The battle plan. The power was out. The books were alive, and Mr. Quiet Time was fully possessed and demanding royalties. They regrouped in the storytime room, now barricaded with folding chairs and copies of Eat, Pray, Love. Randy panted.
We're gonna die in a haunted library run by an unpublished narcissist.
Les looked around.
There's only one way to stop this.
Randy's eyes went wide.
We finished the book.
Les nodded.
We edit Chapter 17.
The editing. They approached the typewriter, which now glowed with cursed literary energy. The final chapter floated in midair, dripping with ink and ego. Wexley hovered over them, screeching,
It's a masterpiece, a postmodern tragedy, a coming of age where no one comes of age.
Lee grabbed a red pen and slashed a line.
Too many adverbs,
he said. Wexley shrieked like someone stepped on his MFA. Randy joined in.
Your female characters have no agency.
Another howl. Les underlined a paragraph.
This metaphor makes no sense. Her heart was a microwave full of bees.
The ghost exploded in rage.
It's a commentary on loneliness.
Mr. Quiet Time launched a sticky note labeled,
Show, don't tell, bitch.
The lights surged. Wexley screamed,
No, Moo! I'm being revised.
And with that, Carlton Wexley exploded into 1,000 unpaid invoices. The aftermath. The library was quiet again. The books calmed. The walls stopped bleeding. Les wiped ink off his face.
We good.
Randy held up the edited manuscript. On the final page, in Carlton's handwriting, "Thank you for making it readable." Les sat down.
This place is cursed.
Randy smiled.
And we're the editors of hell.
Mr. Quiet Time coughed up a paperclip and whispered,
Chapter 18 is fan fiction.
Chapter 14, LibraryCon 2025.
All right,
Les said, adjusting the wrinkled suit jacket he bought at a gas station clearance rack.
Let's not make this weird.
Randy stepped off the bus in a cloak made entirely of library cards.
Too late.
He grinned.
I'm in full Dewey cosplay. I'm walking decimal heat.
They stood before the convention center of Greater Milwaukee, a concrete monstrosity covered in banners reading, "Welcome to LibraryCon 2025. Read it, breathe it, Dewey it." The air smelled like coffee breath, unhealed trauma, and 1,000 introverts pretending not to hate each other. The convention floor. The moment they entered, they were swallowed by chaos. A woman in full Tolkien elf armor was arguing with a man dressed as a sexy Frankenstein about library funding structures. A squad of horny book talk cosplayers in corsets and cat ears were charging $20 for cursed bookmark energy. A romance panel had erupted into a full-scale cuddle pile with suspicious noises. Mr. Quiet Time peeked out of Randy's bag and whispered,
"This place reeks of horny literacy."
The invitation. Their handler, Tanya, approached in a suit made of laminated business cards.
You're speaking at 4 p.m. in room 6B, right after feminist fanfiction, consent, climax, and capitalism.
Randy whispered,
"I've already climaxed twice."
Tanya frowned.
Keep your puppet leashed. Last year, it bit an agent.
The panels. They wandered through, cataloging for kink, how to shelve Smoot without shame. Dungeons and Deweys, where librarians LARPed as cursed archivers, and AI, NFTs, and the future of books you'll never actually own. That's where they met Blaze Vortex, CEO of Ink Chains, the NFT book platform disrupting the literary economy. He wore leather pants, an LED scarf, and had a QR code shaved into his eyebrow.
"You see,"
Blaze said smugly,
"ownership is dead. NFTs let you vibe with literature. For $499, you can co-own a vibe slice of Wuthering Heights."
Les blinked.
That's a public domain book.
Blaze grinned.
"Exactly. All the clout, none of the cost."
Randy leaned over to Les.
"This guy has crypto in his colon."
The audiobook incident. At booth 420, they found Lust Audio Trademark, a niche erotic audiobook company offering NSFW ASMR for book sluts. A bored woman handed them headphones and said, "This one's called the Librarian's Forbidden Index." Les put them on. A sultry voice whispered. He ran his fingers over her spine and then filed her under P for punished. The booth vibrated. A nearby ficus moaned. Les tore off the headphones.
There was slurping. That wasn't figurative slurping, Randy.
Randy was crying and whispering.
"I'll never read Dewey the same again."
The cosplay war. They were ambushed by a rival panel of viral book talk influencers, dressed in coordinated fantasy suits made of gold, lame, and ego. Their leader, Athena Reads, who had 2.4 million followers, and called Les the beta librarian.
You're a joke.
She sneered.
Your haunted library thing is a gimmick. Real readers don't need demons.
Les narrowed his eyes.
Real readers use bookmarks, not their soul.
Randy screamed,
"To the panel stage."
The panel meltdown. Room 6. B was packed. Les and Randy stood before a crowd of over 400 chaotic readers, writers, cosplayers, and one man dressed as the Bible with nipple rings. Les took the mic.
Welcome. We're from Townsend Public Library. We survived a haunting, a book burning, and a puppet exorcism. Today, we talk about...
Boom. Ink Chains burst in, screaming,
buy our NFT of this panel.
Randy threw a thesaurus at Blaze. Athena Reeds launched a smoke bomb made of shredded Colleen Hoover pages. Mr. Quiet Time screamed,
Chapter 17 is coming.
And from the erotic audiobook booth, tentacles erupted, actual wet-slapping tentacles. The Lust audio booth wasn't soundproof, or sealed, or okay. Attendees screamed, some cheered, one couple exchanged numbers. The lockdown. The fire alarm went off, sprinklers sprayed wine. An entire aisle of cozy mysteries exploded from mild panic. Les and Randy were tackled by security, cuffed in glitter zip ties, and dragged out through the romance section. Aftermath. Back in the hotel, bruised and confused, they stared at their guest of honor badges. Randy held up a damp tentacle.
You think this counts as a book club discussion starter?
Les poured vodka into his Capri Sun.
This is the worst con I've ever been to.
Mr. Quiet Time whispered,
This is my favorite con.
Chapter 16, The Siege of Stacks. Smoke filled the tunnels beneath the library. Above ground, the building was quiet. Too quiet. Except for the slow, ominous hum of the audiobook booth in the distance. Still whispering, Punish me, Dewey. Les leaned against the secret vault door, panting, bleeding from a paper cut on his neck that was suspiciously deep. Randy clutched Mr. Quiet Time, who was now wearing camouflage and holding a matchstick in his teeth like a war criminal.
Okay,
Les said.
Run it back. Selena's working for Blaze.
Yes.
Blaze wants to tokenize the Librarian Order's sacred archive.
Yep.
And now there's a possessed manuscript on the loose that whispers Latin at my soul.
Yep.
And we're supposed to fix this?
Randy pulled a dictionary from his bag, lit it on fire, and nodded.
With violence and knowledge.
The breach. Boom. The erotica aisle exploded. Pages of Forbidden Touchdown. A tight end. Romance fluttered through the air like sexy shrapnel. Selena stormed the stacks in black body armor, screaming,
Bring me the manuscript.
Her squad, tech bros in ironic glasses and hoodies that said, Read this, Bitcoin, swarmed the floor, firing QR codes from wrist launchers. Every code hit a shelf, and books disappeared, absorbed into the cloud. Randy screamed.
They're stealing the fucking paper.
The counterattack. Lee rallied the librarians like it was Helm's Deep with coffee breath. Mabel loaded the wine cannon. The homeschool kids returned, now trained in combat cart-wielding. The book club grandmas wore chainmail made from old Oprah's book club seals. Randy grabbed the PA system mic.
This is Townsend Library. We don't pay late fees, we make them.
They charged. The Erotica Aisle Showdown. Les found Selena near Erotic Memoirs 641.867. She stood like a Bond villain in front of a burning copy of The Kama Sutra, illustrated, annotated, uncensored.
You never finished your story.
She purred. Les threw off his jacket.
Let's write the ending.
She lunged, slicing with her laser cutter. Lise blocked it with a copy of The Joy of Sex, screaming,
Don't you dare deface the figure-8 missionary.
They grappled, rolled over beanbags, knocked over a shelf of memoirs of a geisha, but hornier. She pinned him.
You still owe me a final chapter.
Les headbutted her with a book light taped to his forehead and whispered,
Plot twist, bitch.
The digital demon. Meanwhile, Blaze reached the sacred manuscript and scanned it into a tablet. Uploading. Carlton Wexley. Final draft 666.epub. The screen flickered, then spoke,
Hello, reader. Would you like to bleed?
The lights cut out. The audiobook booth screamed in pleasure. Randy stood before the possessed tablet, holding Mr. Quiet Time like a holy relic.
Carlton?
He said softly.
You want it to be published, not unleashed.
The tablet began vibrating. Latin chanted. Fonts changed mid-sentence. Comic Sans appeared.
No.
Randy roared.
We have standards.
He hurled a burning thesaurus directly at the screen. The ebook howled. The screen cracked. Mr. Quiet Time whispered,
"Shh. Eternal silence."
The demon burst in a puff of 404 error codes and sadness. The escape. Selena dragged a half-conscious Blaze toward the exit.
You fools! Knowledge should be exclusive, monetized, controlled.
Les limped forward, covered in glitter, sweat, and the blood of 1,000 destroyed e-readers.
You know what makes a book powerful, Selena?
He said.
Not scarcity, access.
Behind him, every librarian, every kid, every grandma shouted in unison, "Reading is revolution!" Selena screamed. Mr. Quiet Time farted, and the vault sealed behind her. Aftermath. 3 hours later, the dust settled. Blaze was arrested by Library of Congress Black Ops. Selena vanished into the Dewey tunnels beneath Chicago. Mabel was named honorary head of book club intelligence, and the town mayor gave them funding, immunity, and 2 parking spaces. Les sat on the roof with Randy, sipping juice boxes filled with wine.
This library is a goddamn war zone,
Les muttered. Randy smiled.
And we're just getting started.
Mr. Quiet Time sat between them, holding a red pen and smiling. Chapter 17, Blood and Binding. It was supposed to be over. Blaze was in custody. Selena was gone. The library was mostly standing, but at midnight, the copier began printing. It didn't hum. It didn't beep. It growled. Randy emerged from the break room, chewing cold ravioli from a VHS tape and carrying Mr. Quiet Time like a baby Jesus with PTSD.
What is it?
Les whispered. Randy stared at the sheet. Chapter 17, It Wakes. The walls of the library shuddered. The elevator, long broken, lit up. Basement, level 2, level 3, level 17. Randy whispered,
"We don't have a level 17.
Les grabbed a flashlight.
Guess we do now.
The descent. The elevator rattled, ancient gears groaning like ghosts with sciatica. Inside, the lights flickered. A soft voice whispered, "Shh." Randy clutched Les's arm.
I have a bad feeling.
You always have a bad feeling.
No, I mean like, bowel-wise.
They stepped out into stone. Old, wet, cold, smelling of mildew, guilt, and overdue Bibles. Torches lit themselves. Runes flickered on the walls. Quotes from banned books, etched in blood and fire. At the end of the corridor sat the Book of Binding. It pulsed with a heartbeat. It was chained, padlocked. Runes glowed, and carved into the pedestal, only the bound may unbind. The final warning. An apparition appeared, Benjamin Franklin, shirtless, glowing, tattooed. He floated above the book, holding a quill like a dagger.
"Turn back,"
he boomed.
"This is the last draft. The final edit. The uncut version."
Les stepped forward.
We've faced haunted typewriters, erotic audiobook demons, and an ex-girlfriend with a flamethrower. Try us.
Ben Franklin's ghost threw a wink and vanished in a burst of sparkles and historical trauma. The final choice. The Book of Binding spoke.
I contain every story, all words ever written, all endings left unread. Touch me and you rewrite reality.
Randy whispered,
"Bro, you could erase taxes."
Les blinked.
We could fix everything.
The book hissed.
Or break it all.
Mr. Quiet Time twitched.
"This is your arc, Les."
Les stepped forward, then stopped.
Number, we're librarians, not gods, not editors of existence.
He turned, looked at Randy.
Let's bind it forever.
The ritual. Randy opened a backpack full of ceremonial supplies. A 1992 library card. The first rejected manuscript of Carlton Wexley. 1 drop of blood from a paper cut. And a sock puppet with conviction. Les chanted the closing line from the very first story he ever loved.
And when the final page turned, they knew it was done.
The book screamed. A flash of light. Pages scattered. Runes broke. The ground shook. The library above glowed like a sunrise made of ink, and the book, closed, bound forever. Epilogue. 1 year later, Townsend Public Library is quiet. Kids read in beanbags, grandmas gossip softly over thrillers. The erotica aisle has been renovated for stability. Les sits at the front desk, sipping decaf. Randy wheels by on a scooter made of recycled Kindles, wearing shades and a shirt that says Stack Daddy. Mr. Quiet Time is now a therapy puppet, and the copier? Still haunted, but polite. On the roof, they watch the sunset. Les sighs.
Do you think it's really over?
Randy smiles.
In libraries, there's always a sequel.
Chapter 18, Postscript Pandemonium. The library was quiet. Not haunted quiet, not cursed quiet, just library quiet. For the first time in years, Lees found himself drinking actual tea from a real mug with a handle. Randy sat across from him, wearing a bathrobe made of laminated bookmarks and an eye patch he didn't need.
I'm bored,
he said. Les blinked.
We've had peace for exactly 11 hours.
I don't thrive in peace, I twitch in peace.
Mr. Quiet Time sat between them, unusually still. He looked thoughtful. If a sock puppet could be haunted by a past he doesn't remember. The glitch. At 3:03 a.m., the lights flickered again.
Not this shh,
Les mumbled, gripping a fire extinguisher. The copier growled softly, but didn't print. Instead, it spat out a cassette tape. Yes, a cassette. Labeled in Sharpie, Quiet Time, do not play. For real, seriously, don't. Randy stared at it like it farted in Morse code.
Where the hell did we even get a cassette deck?
Mr. Quiet Time raised his felt hand slowly and pointed. At the historical media room, door already open, lights already on. The tape. They played it, a static hiss, then a child's voice, soft, British, broken.
This is test subject number 13, code name, Quiet Time. I remember the needles, the pages, the silence. I remember Project Libriogenesis.
Randy's jaw dropped.
They made him.
Les whispered,
He was built.
The tape continued.
They said I was just for story time, but I learned, I read, I watched them, and when the scream started, I didn't cry. I corrected them.
Mr. Quiet Time blinked both googly eyes independently. He stood, he turned his head 180 degrees, and in a voice no one had ever heard him use.
My story has chapters too.
The Shadow Network. The next morning, Les found a book on his desk with no author, no title, no barcode. Inside it, names, coordinates, dates, librarians, all around the country, all missing. Stamped in red on the final page. The order isn't dead, they just shelved themselves. The final image. Mr. Quiet Time walks into the basement, alone. He carries a book-shaped briefcase. He opens a filing cabinet, presses his little puppet hand to a fingerprint scanner, and mutters,
Access, quiet protocol.
A hidden door opens. Inside, a full tactical war room, maps, stacks of blacked-out files, a flamethrower made of library card laminators, a suit of armor made of sharpened bookmarks. He pulls on a trench coat, one stitched with a single word across the back, revision. Chapter 19, Stack to the Future. 6 weeks after Chapter 17. The library was suspiciously normal. Too normal. No screaming books, no tentacle seductions, no puppet-related exorcisms. Les was suspicious. He sipped coffee, read a laminated article titled, Signs You Might Be Living in a False Peace. Randy sat beside him, carving a boomerang out of an old Kindle.
Dude,
Randy whispered.
I think something's wrong.
Les raised an eyebrow.
Wrong as in Randy accidentally summoned Edgar Allan Poe again, or wrong as in sock puppet war crimes?
Randy didn't answer. He slid over a manila envelope labeled Project Silencer. The clues. Inside of photos of burned libraries, redacted emails, a blurry image of Mr. Quiet Time in a trench coat, holding a flaming book like a torch. On the back of one photo, someone had scrawled, "He's not just a puppet anymore, he's a program." Les stood slowly.
He's gone rogue.
Randy nodded.
Mm-hmm. And he's erasing history, one book at a time.
The missing book. That afternoon, they discovered it. A gap on the shelf. Call number 746.92, Fashion Design. The book? Stitch by Stitch, A History of Puppet Design. Gone. Vanished. Not just checked out. Never existed. Randy whispered,
"He's editing his own past."
The new enemy. At 3:03 p.m., the library's database glitched. The Dewey Decimal System began reorganizing itself. Books screamed, nonfiction melted into fantasy. The cookbook section spawned a lasagna demon. A voice crackled through every speaker, distorted, robotic.
"The quiet will last forever. Chapter 0 begins now."
Les hit the emergency button. A siren blared. The library's AI assistant, named ALFRED, awoke.
"Welcome to emergency protocol. Go to SQUISH, SOC. Puppet, Quest, Under, Internal, Silent, Havoc."
The call to action. Lees opened the ancient drawer labeled, "In case of puppet apocalypse." Inside, a holy bookmark, blessed by a retired priestess of Barnes and Noble. A whistle that summons book club elders. A VHS tape labeled, "Mr. Quiet Time, Year 0. Randy strapped on his read or bleed vest and whispered,
"He trained under us. He watched us. We raised a sock puppet into a sentient war criminal."
Les loaded a staple gun.
And now, we end his chapter.
The final page. For now. Deep beneath the Library of Congress, in a room no one dares speak of, Mr. Quiet Time stands before a wall of ancient books. Each one has a single name: Twain, Wolfe, Orwell, you. He turns to a shadowy figure in a cloak of microfilm and speaks.
"Activate the Penumbra Protocol. Bring me the first draft."
Chapter 20, Library Siberia. They called it the Cold Shelf. Somewhere deep in the Arctic, past the point where Google Maps stops and only conspiracy blogs post coordinates, lay Library Siberia, an ancient underground archive buried in permafrost and paranoia. To most, it was myth. To Les and Randy, it was the only place left to find the first draft. The original story, the master key, the source. Quiet Time was hunting. The arrival. Lee stepped off the ice hauler in a parka made of thermal bookmark coupons.
"This is stupid,"
he muttered, holding a flare gun and a copy of War and Peace and Conspiracy. Randy grinned behind ski goggles.
"Stupid gets result."
They descended into the subarctic stack hole, a massive underground vault guarded by exiled librarians, bootleg catalogers, and a man named Blizzardo who spoke only in footnotes.
"You here for truth?
He rasped.
Or for editing?"
Les slid him a frozen library card. Blizzardo smiled.
"Then welcome to Siberia."
The market. Inside, shelves of redacted poetry. A booth offering banned audiobooks with a safe word system. Paper dealers cutting Encyclopedia Britannica into dime bags. A woman in a trench coat whispering, "I've got Lovecraft." Untranslated, tentacles included. Les blinked.
"This is worse than the Lust audio booth."
Randy elbowed him.
"Focus. We're looking for footnote."
The memory-erasing footnote. A back room, lit by oil lamps and resentment. On a podium sat a single page, typed, yellowing, smoldering at the corners. Footnote Infinity used this footnote to remove any idea, from any mind, from anywhere. Les stared.
"So, this is how they erase stories."
Randy held up a mirror. Les's reflection flickered. Randy's eyes widened.
They've already started. They're deleting us.
From behind them, a whisper. Too late. The trap. Mr. Quiet Time stepped from the shadows, upgraded. Now in a black leather trench coat, eyes glowing red with tracking lasers. A bandolier made of brass library stamps.
Welcome,
he said,
to page 0.
Behind him, a troupe of rogue puppets, ex-Storytime icons, forgotten mascots, canceled by capitalism. Bingo the Clownfish, fired for unionizing. Detective Koala, too Australian. Miss Fluffernut, banned for being too thick. Quiet Time stepped forward.
No more edits, no more rewrites, only blank pages.
The final stand. Les raised his flare gun.
You taught me everything, Quiet, even how to staple in the dark.
Randy drew twin sharpened pencils.
But you forgot the first rule of the stacks.
They lunged. Books flew. Footnotes detonated. Quiet Time blocked a punch with a hardcover of Great Expectations.
Irony,
he hissed. Randy unleashed a smoke bomb made of dried poetry slams. Les tackled Quiet Time, slamming the first draft into his chest.
Your story isn't finished, but it's ours to tell.
With one final scream, Quiet Time exploded in a flash of footnotes, fonts, and auto-corrected trauma. Silence. Then, soft paper falling like snow. Epilogue. Back at Townsend Public Library. Peace. Kind of. Les shelved a new book, Quiet Time, a memoir as told by others. Randy ran Storytime, wearing a hoodie that said, "Don't make me go full Dewey." The copier whirred, but didn't growl. And in the basement, a single file, labeled Project Story Hole, Season 3 approved. Post-credit chapter. Chapter 0, the page that writes back. Fade in. We're in a white void. No shelves, no paper, no characters. Only a desk, and on it, a single page, typed in perfect, cruel font. Chapter 0, the beginning of the end. Footsteps echo, but no one walks. The page flutters, then curls. It's reading itself. From the void, a voice.
They thought they ended the story. They thought Quiet Time was the only anomaly. They were wrong.
A black-gloved hand reaches into frame. Not Les, not Randy. Fingers grasp the page. It burns, then reforms. A book slams shut. Title, The Writer. Author, unknown. The camera zooms into the cover. It's your name, right there, on the spine, burning. Somewhere else. Back in Townsend, the copier screams. Randy drops his juice box. Les sprints in, already sweating. The page it just printed? Dear author, you're being watched. Stop writing, or we'll take the pen. Signed, the editors. Les stares, then whispers.
We just got sequel baited by a plot device.
Randy swallows.
We're in the footnotes now, baby.
The final image. Deep in the void library, a place beyond genre, a figure sits in shadow. They wear a red pen on a chain around their neck. They flip open a notebook, blank pages, waiting. Then they speak.
Story time's over.
It's rewrite season. They smile and write Chapter 1.